woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Good morning, CSL Simi Valley. Another morning waking up with the mind stayed on Spirit. Feeling really grateful for being all prayed up this morning. Just moments ago before we get ready to start, all the audio went out. I was like, what? Oh my goodness. But hey, pulled out the earbuds. I think this is going to work. It may not sound as pure as we usually have. And there could even be some feedback. Just want to have full disclosure. But hey, Spirit is working. No matter what, everything's going to work out fine. I'm convinced of that. And now, as if... wow, what a great sign. Of course it's going to work out fine. I'm looking at a hummingbird. A hummingbird is like just hovering right outside the window. Done. Everything's perfect. It is. It is really. It really is. If we just trust, this is what this teaching is all about. Trusting in the power of the divine, and then the good shows up. We go into doubt, the law gets confused. One doesn't get confused. We get confused. The law is very clear. He has doubt, I'll give him more things to be doubtful about. He has assurance, I'll give him more things to be assured about. I'm assured that no matter what, Spirit's got things covered. Boom, earbuds popped out, sound's working, hummingbird shows up. I mean, double thumbs. So the world is opening up again. Ventura County dropped into the yellow zone last week. Traveled over the Memorial Day holiday. Turns out there were close to over 3 million travelers. And I actually saw Reverend Dr. David Bruner out of the San Jose Church cruising through the airport on his way to Salt Lake City to see family. So we're all out and about. It's really great. It was wonderful. And at the same time, I can see that people are still remaining cautious and some are feeling very cautious. So we need to tread lightly, meet people where they are. And that's what we're going to do at the center as we reopen. We're going to meet people where they are. We'll continue to have virtual, we'll have some in person. It's going to be a wonderful hybrid mix, but it's coming. And I'm really grateful for that. Wonderful service coming up today. Reverend Jennifer is our practitioner of the day. She'll be helping us with prayer and treatment. And we have a great artist who I love so much from north of the border, bringing Amy Bishop here. And I think she wants to say hello.
Hello, CSL Simi Valley. My name is Amy Bishop, and I'm so grateful to be singing for you this morning. Thank you for having me. Have a blessed Sunday, and may your week be absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Amy. Glad to have you. Also, a new month, time to recognize Volunteer of the Month. This month, I want to recognize a gentleman who is coming to our center on fire. He brings a strong spiritual background into the center, but also has found his tribe, as he has said. He's found his people, and he has dove in quick and has recently, well, if I say too much, you're going to know before I reveal the name. So, this month's Volunteer of the Month, Dale Aarons. Thank you, Dale. Thank you for the work you've done. You have followed Costa after many years of leading our Giants men's group and stepped into the men's group, your service on the business side of the center, and have been of support of all of our activities. And we just want to recognize the good that you're doing for us and how much we love you by recognizing you as this month's Volunteer of the Month. We like to anchor everything at the Center of Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, with prayer. And so we'll open our service and move into that sacred space, or deeper into the sacred space, because it's all sacred in my book. From the moment you signed on and started hearing the Soul Purpose Band sing, until the moment we go live, until you start seeing me talk, it's all the way to the very end when we say, see you next week. It's all a sacred event. Even after this, your whole life is sacred. So make it that. And prayer helps to anchor the sacredness of life. Reverend Jennifer.
Blessings, Simi Valley. So grateful to be here together in spiritual community this morning through Virch. So grateful for each one of us here present, knowing that God is here infinite fold as each one of us. Knowing that whatever it is you want to give today, or whatever it is you need to receive, it is already done in mind. Knowing healing, knowing wisdom, knowing peace, knowing love, I release my words into the field that we call mind, knowing it is already done, and so it is.
And so it is. Treatment, prayer, as we call it, treatment, all the spiritual practices, meditation in particular, help us to stay focused on the light that we are. And I just talk about things just working out no matter what. This week, Amy provided a song that is a meditative experience. So we're going to kind of double down on meditation this morning. We're going to listen to Amy's song on reflecting the light that you are, the light that is spirit, that is reflecting as you out into the world. That'll be a moment of contemplation on the light, right? And then we'll follow that by going into the gap. And what's really interesting is this week on the gap, Reverend Jennifer chose to focus the gap on candlelight. Amy and Jennifer, I don't think they spoke to each other except through spirit, which said, focus on the light. So, Amy Bishop, reflecting on the light, followed by the gap meditation, where you get to concentrate on the light as you dive into the gap.
I wrote this chant for a meditation I led a few weeks back, and at that time I needed the reminder of who I really am. And so if you feel comfortable, maybe just close your eyes and breathe and be reminded. Love, reflecting love, I am one with the divine. I am peace, expressing heaven bright. I am light, reflecting light. Love, reflecting love, I am one with the divine. I am peace, expressing heaven bright. I am light, reflecting light. Love, reflecting love, I am one with the divine. I am peace, expressing heaven bright. I am light, reflecting light. I am peace, expressing heaven bright. I am light, reflecting light. I am peace, expressing heaven bright. I am light, reflecting light.
Hi, everyone. It's time for our gap meditation where we may experience the gap between thoughts. So please get comfortable in your chairs. Close your eyes or leave them just a little bit loosely open. Let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouths. Let's slowly bring ourselves back into the room, back into our chairs, opening our eyes when we're ready. And here ends our gap meditation.
I am so glad that Reverend Jennifer invited us to come back into our seats, to settle back into our seats. Even though I'm standing, I was floating. I didn't settle back to my seat, but I floated back down here to the ground, because between the reflecting of the light song and then the candlelight and the concentration of going into the gap with the candle, I just found myself like this floating space, and it brought me this sense of peace and serenity. And I hope it does the same for you. If not, meditate some more. It's a beautiful experience, and it's just so healing, right? And it's that space, as we'll talk about in a minute, we have our free will that allows us to not live in separation, but to live in connection with the divine. And prayer, meditation, particularly the gap, reflecting on the light, that's the way to do that. Because sometimes life is like a raging river, right? And spirit, again, I talk about personifying spirit. I'll talk about that in a moment, but if we see spirit as a living entity, sometimes we spend a lot of time calling God Father, but God is also Mother. And in this song, Amy has a reflection about God, and I love this tune. It's called Just Like Her.
water's edge, watching the river run through. Now she flows on, she twists and she turns, no telling what that river might do. Bravely she moves, not knowing what's ahead, not knowing what awaits in the end. Just like her, I follow my road, not knowing what's around the next bend. Oh, 'cause I am deep and I'm wild and I'm strong. Well, I'm blessed with a place to belong. I can be counted on to always deliver, just like the river. Woo! Here I stand, my face in the wind, looking at the mountainside. That mountain peak seems so far away, so far and too high to climb. But one inch at a time, that mountain she rises, reaching for her higher view. Just like her, I reach for my goals, and I reach to find my dream come true. Whoa. 'Cause I am beautiful, majestic, and wise. I stand strong between the earth and the skies. I am a place to refuel and start again, just like the mountain. Here I stand, toes in the sand, listening to the ocean move. She's drawn by the moon, singing her tune. That ocean, she's got nothing to prove. The ocean is deep, the ocean is wild, reaching far beyond my view. Just like her, I shift and I move, each crashing waves of life made new. Whoa. I am as constant as the swelling tide. I believe there's nothing about me that I need to hide. And I live a life that is always an ocean, just like the ocean. Just like her, reaching far beyond my view.
I love that little chuckle at the end. Amy Bishop, just like her. That song has such power in it, and it's also just jamming too. She just jams right through the whole song. But I love that, well, you know, it's reaching for the goals. And as we reach for our goals, sometimes it seems like we're reaching from a pit of despair and sadness. We're reaching from a down place to try to get to that mountain high that she's talking about, right? And what I've thought about this week is how, you know, we all want a vision, right? Where there is no vision, the people perish, the person perishes. We want a vision, and frequently that vision comes from that lower place. So I'm thinking that the preamble to vision, are you ready for it? The preamble to vision is actually pain. Pain pushes us toward our vision until the vision finally pulls us. Heraclitus tells us that there is no strife, that where there is no strife, there is decay. that where the mixture is not shaken, it will decompose. And you see that if you leave something alone for long enough, nature will take over it and break it down in terms of the fence in your backyard or whatever, or it'll decompose over time. You must shake it up a little bit. And pain is that thing that shakes us up a little bit. It's the preamble. Sometimes folks say, there's a whole group of people that meet in rooms all over America that say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Just one more moment of insanity that finally led them to the place where they understood that insanity is truly doing the same thing, expecting different results. And if those same results, that same thing that's resulting in more pain, more hurt, more sorrow, it's really, in a strange way, it's an unwelcome but necessary push. A unwelcomed but necessary push toward your vision that's flowing from pain. It's opening up to a space of freedom in really many ways, because if we can catch a new vision for ourselves, we can free ourselves from the strife and the misery of the past lives, a life that feels like it's decomposing, a life that's not on the mountaintop but is down into the valley. We can move out of that space and have an invitation for our soul to journey to its divine destination. Because that's really what it's all about. It's about moving into the goodness that is life itself, the goodness that is God's itself. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. And that power for good wants good for each and every one of us. You know, we can look at so many people and so many examples and so many situations in our lives and in our world that model this thing I'm telling you about, where pain has been the preamble to the vision. I'm thinking right now of Coretta Scott King, who went through so much turmoil, house bombing, losing her husband twice, really, lost him to a cause because he had to work so hard for that cause. And then the ultimate gift that she gave us is to lose his life to her as well. And she talks about pain. She says that that pain is a guide. It is a guide to discovery, a vision of how even the worst pain and heartaches be channeled into human monuments, impenetrable and everlasting. See, if we can capture this thing that hurts us so much, that hurts so deeply, that breaks the heart, if we can capture that, it can lead to a human monument, impenetrable, everlasting. But we must set the stage for that. And the setting of the stage, preamble actually means introductory fact or circumstance. So the introductory fact, the introductory circumstance to our greater yet to be, quite frequently is a painful experience. And there's no need to run from it. We must face it. And by facing it, we set the stage. It can feel like a lump of coal has been dropped in your lap. A lump of coal, black coal, it's like, oh, what am I going to do with this? Well, how about get curious? Become open to it, accepting of the experience of it, and actually love it. Yeah, actually love it. Did you notice what that was? Curious, open, accepting, loving. You think it's a lump of coal? It is. Coal, C-O-A-L. Curious, open, accepting, and loving. Can you be curious? Can you be open to what is this telling me? And can you accept that this is here, but it's here to pass? It has come to pass, not to stay. Life is transitory, and these experiences are helping us take that soul journey to our higher yet to be, right? So just love into it. I do a pain exercise with people sometimes when they're feeling a deep amount of pain. And it's a crazy kind of exercise. It sort of seems like counterintuitive. You're thinking to yourself, gosh, I hurt and you want me to pay attention to it? But yes, when there's pain in the body, you think about it. Where is that pain in my body? How deep is it into my body? Does the pain have color? Does it have texture and feeling? Can I see through it? Is it translucent? Is it opaque? Describing the pain. See, pain wants your attention. So if you just pay attention to the pain, it's so interesting. When I work with people in this exercise and they're diving into the pain and describing and feeling into the pain, they report they're feeling less pain. Because pain is just a knock, knock, knock at your door saying, pay attention to the circumstances that have brought me about. And here is the marker. It's like a gauge on your dash. You know, when the light comes on, check engine, You don't thump, thump, thump till it goes out, because then your engine will go out. No, you pay attention to the light, and he guides you to where the repairs need to be taken. And the same thing with pain. It guides you to the place where the repairs need to go. You see, you can't run away from it. Running away from pain, you might as well set up a tent on a river in Africa. You're talking about denial. You can't do it. And Dr. Holmes, in the Science of Mind teaching, does not even suggest that we should deny it. We should see this pain as a pathway to our greater yet to be. He says, I believe everything is as real as it is supposed to be. If a person hurts, he hurts. There is no use in denying it. Pick up your tent, take it off the banks of the Nile, and move into an experience of birth, rebirth, renewal, restoration, and growth. It's a wonderful woman I came across in my readings this week, Mililani Trask. She's Hawaiian. She works for Hawaiian sovereignty, for the people of Hawaii to have more power over their lives, right? Great social activist and community organizer in the islands of Hawaii. Came from a long line of Hawaiians who have been dedicated to service, uncles and father in legislature, Senate, the judicial areas of work. And she decided to work in that arena to help bring more hope to folks. And she says something really interesting. She says, a difficult birth does not make a baby any less beautiful. Think about that. The pain that goes with birth, that baby comes out and you just, oh, look at you, you're just so just you want to pinch the cheek and just hold it close, and then it grabs your finger and you're gone. It's all, you are now its slave. But that difficult birth does not make the baby any less beautiful. Pain's beauty is that it adds clarity to our lives. There's a woman, it's told in the Science of Mind magazine from this month, there's a woman who lost a partner, and it just devastated her so much that she tried to shift her life. She was looking for something to move into a new experience, and decided to dedicate herself to planting a tree. She planted Charlie the oak tree. And in that planting of this tree that lasted for 25 years, she found a way to move beyond her pain and grief and to accept a rebirth. She was motivated by her pain. You see, your pain can either be an opportunity to break down and fall apart, or to break yourself up, or to break through to a new experience. And there's so much of it. There seems to be so much of it in our world. If you look around, if you watch the news, you see what's happening in our, even if you take a look at the medicines that they advertise on the TV, all the side effects, they sound painful. Do I want to take this medication? Oh my goodness. We ask why? Why is there so much sorrow? Why is there so much suffering? Why is there so much tragedy? Seems like everywhere you look, there's injustice formed from biases and as a result of dominance of one group over another group. But this painful experiences that we see, this injustice, this sorrow, this suffering that we hear about, it's the preamble. It's the preamble. It's a fertilizer for our free will. You see, we have a choice to make. And sometimes, when life is going along really great and there's no disruptions and you're just free sailing, you're like, why change? It's all good. But when life becomes a little difficult, when you go through the sorrow, the suffering, the tragedy, when you're feeling the injustice, when you're seeing biases, when you're understanding that some people are being dominated by others and it feels wrong, you want equity to show up in the space of that, then that's a hurtful feeling. And that's when the free will is fertilized. You say, I have a choice. And Dr. Holmes says that is so important to remember. He says, man, and if he were writing in today's vernacular, he would say the human, or humankind, don't get twisted about that. Go with the quote. Man must be let alone to discover himself, else be compelled arbitrarily to follow one road, in which case he would be an automaton, not an individual. We are not automatons. We are individuals. We're actually individualized expressions is the only thing that is, but we're individualized. We're all snowflakes, but each one has its different pattern. You see? We're all going to be drawn to a different journey. We're all going to respond to a different level of pain. You know, some people, they use that 10 scale. Some people, you know, a painful experience, it's a 7. For others, it's a 10. For some, it's a 2. That's just how it works. But when the individual experience of pain is felt, it informs a collective experience because we share our pains. You see what happens in our world today with folks running out into the streets and protesting, people working hard to help bring health to the world. We see what happens when we all come together, when we focus on the individual's pain. The collective comes to work in support of the consciousness of all to lift the tide for everyone. So we share pain, but we also benefit from its push. But again, we must face it. We must face it. Here I go with the letters again. Face, F-A-C-E. We must become flexible, right? We got to be pliable. We got to go with the flow. Check it out. Be willing to experience it. Remember the attention exercise? It's just wanting to get your attention. Pay attention because you're setting yourself up for the preamble of your good. It's the preamble to your vision. So go ahead. Be flexible about this, right? And then become adaptable. Be ready to make the change. And how do you become adaptable? By staying curious. By staying curious. Be as little children. Don't be childlike. Be as little children. Why? How? How come? How far? When are we getting there? Curiosity. It does not kill the cat. It cures the pain. Right? And then the E for face. Expectant. Dr. Holmes talks a lot about expectancy. We must expect our good. We must know that there is a power for good in the universe. We must know that that good power wants our good in our life. We must expect it to show up in our life. That's going to have to face it, right? But it's not going to always feel comfortable. In fact, it's not comfortable. It's pain. That's why they call it pain. It's not comfortable. But it is required for our expansion and our evolution. It's very challenging. It's challenging to lose what's familiar. And pain's going to ask you to lose what's familiar. It's courageous to question what is traditional, and it's daring to abandon safety, to abandon comfort, to abandon control. Yet it is essential to capture the vision that we are going to be pulled toward once we get pushed by that hurtful experience. You know, Annis Bloom, Annis Nin is famous for this quote. It says, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." Many of you might think that's just a quote from something, but that actually is the whole poem called The Risk. The day came when the risk to remain tight in bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Reminds me of one of my favorite poems. I've read it to you before. It's called Potbound. I'm going to do it again. It's Potbound. It says, in Potbound, it's by Diana Chapman Walsh. She was asked a question. So she begins with that. She says, I have it right here. He asked me a question I'd never considered before. When is it that you know you have to go someplace else? When is it that you know you have to go someplace else? At first I think, I don't know. Don't go. Never have. Just try to please. Do what's expected. Bloom where I'm planted. But then the answer germinates in the soul of my mind. I see a potted plant, roots protruding from the drainage hole in the bottom, ready to grow, ready to burst forth, ready to go. After weeks or months of years of putting its root system down, of consolidating its power, of husbanding its resources, it has reached a crisis point, lost its equilibrium, has to grow, has to go. I run down to the cellar, root around for a larger pot, only a little larger, so my vulnerable plant won't wilt in the unstructured vastness of a new world without apparent walls. I have to smash the old pot to rescue the restless plant. Impacted root system, now naked in my hand. A small sacrifice, but a radical operation to deliver the plant from death. Without the space to grow, it will shrivel and die. When is it that I know I have to go someplace else? When I have to grow or die. See, that captures it right there in Potbound. Dinah Walsh has captured the preamble to your vision. When do you have to go for a new vision? When you know that to stay where you are will stifle you. To stay where you are, you will decay. To stay where you are, you will decompose. But in order to grow, to thrive, dare to flourish, you must break the container of your comfort zone and step into a larger space. Not too much larger. Doesn't even have to be that much larger. Just a little larger space so that you can expand and grow and realize Spirit's vision for you. Spirit wants its most. It wants the most for you. We're talking about a loving presence that gives of itself to all creation for creation to be. So if we think of Spirit and personified, think of Spirit as a person for a moment. As we know, it's a presence. It's more than any one thing. It's not a human. But think of it with human qualities for a minute. When I do that, what comes to me is that Spirit gets sad when I feel when it recognizes me separate from it. When I practice separation from Spirit, I think Spirit gets sad. You see, but through Spirit wants connection, but it wants that connection through our participation. When I see God as the lover, I know that all it wants for me, that all it wants for you is to have it all.
May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May you take no effort in you being generous, giving what you can, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get to rest, may you catch your breath. And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa, and may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa, 'cause here's to the hearts you're gonna break. Here's to the lives you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, want you to have it all. Want you to have it all. Want you to have it all. May you be as fascinating as a snap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you get unquestionable health and less stress, having no possessions yet immeasurable wealth. May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it every moment to the next. And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Well, may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa, well, here's to the hearts you're gonna break. Here's to the lives you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible way to love you. Want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact I'll be sad without you. Want you to have it all. Oh, want you to have it all you can imagine. Oh, no matter what your path is, if you believe it, then anything can happen. Go, 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 raise your glasses. Go, 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 you can have it all. I toast you. Here's to the hearts you gon' break. Here's to the lives you gon' change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. Want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, want you to have it all. Want you to have it all. Want you to have it all. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Here's to you always making me laugh. Here's to the fact I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all.
To have it all. Love that song. To have it all is what Spirit wants for you. And so the invitation from pain is to find the blessing in the lesson. It is to use our free will to connect with Spirit, not separate from Spirit. Regardless of pain or sickness or poverty or unhappiness, when those are showing up, we have denied our allness with the divine. We have denied the allness of God itself. But when we accept that allness and know that there is a power here that can help us move into our good, the unhappiness vanishes, the poverty turns into limitless prosperity and abundance, and the pain diminishes and the sickness goes into health and wholeness. See, Dr. Holmes tells us, he says, our founder, we have within us a power that can overcome every obstacle in our experience and set us safe, satisfied, and at peace, healed and prosperous in a new light and a new life. Are you ready for a new light, a new life, a greater yet to be becoming now, a greater yet to be coming into being? Don't see pain as the punishment. See it as the preamble to living your vision. And so it is. Let's go now to Reverend Jennifer for today's affirmation.
As I read our affirmation, please say it with me. I set the stage for the vision which is pulling me into my greater yet to be, by fully embodying my life's experiences.
Thank you, Reverend Jennifer. Let's embody our life's experiences through this morning's revealing prayer. Recognizing the divine presence in this moment, knowing there's only the one, that is God itself, personified as each and every one of us, individualized, giving of itself that special quality, that innate beingness within each all that allows us to step forward into our greater yet to be here and now through the word I am speaking here. I am knowing that each and every one of us is on a path of unfoldment and discovery, that every experience in our life has come to us for the opportunity to expand and to grow, to live in the beautiful clarity that reduces pain, sorrow, and suffering, that moves us into justice and away from injustice, that moves us into love and away from bias and judgment, that moves us into harmony and away from dominance and overbearingness, that we inform the collective of life to know that there is this power for good that we get to use, that is using us, that lifts the tide for all and creates that world that works better for each and every one. I'm knowing right here and now that wherever there is sickness, wholeness is unfolding. That wherever there is sadness, joy and harmony is replacing it. That wherever there is lack or limitation, it is being right now vanquished in the experience of abundance and prosperity. And it's all about making the choice to face it, to become flexible and adaptable and curious and expectant, to live in an open, accepting, and loving way. And by this word, I affirm that we all ignite that capacity within us that allows us to live in that way. And simply knowing right now that there in spirit is no you and there is no me. There is only the one that I release now into that one love, that one love, that one law to which I pray. And here and now, I give it over to spirit by these words. And so it is.
manifestation out of devastation. The truth. Know me, know you. One. Know me, know you. Love. Got no limitation. I'm a new creation. It's time for celebration. Born again. Know me, know you. One. Know me, know you. Love. I look at me and I know love lives here. You, and I'm looking in a mirror. Peace or desperation, we can choose elation. Love is the foundation, so let's build. Know me, know you. Know me, know you. Love. Know me, know you. One. Know me, know you. Love. Know me, know you. Love.
Thank you, Amy. Know me, know you, love. I can hear it every time I say it. Frequently when I say love, I hear D. Love prevails. Know me, know you, love. This is when we move into that opportunity for you to share your love for what we do at the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. This is where we practice the law of circulation. We have a number of ways to support our center, and here are our ways to give. You can support our spiritual community by visiting the website at cslcimi.org/donating. So grateful for all of you who have provided the funds to keep us thriving during this COVID lockdown that is now COVID opening up. You can also text the word give to 805-600-5677. You can always call the office, 805-527-0870. We accept your gifts at any time, after the service or anytime during the week, or right now while this is taking place. If you're good with your internet stuff, just open up another browser window. Don't leave the service. Just open up another window and do your donating and stick around, because there's more service to come. All right. And here is the way you can support your own spiritual growth through our affirmation of abundance. Join me now. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for CSL Simi Valley now. Divine love is victorious. Here are today's announcements for the week, as well as a blessing for your gift that you are giving to the service, which will follow the announcements.
thank you. I bless your offering given from your heart and from your soul to the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. May it go to our center and also out into the world to help create a world that works for everyone. And so it is.
I want to thank everyone who's been contributing to our service this week. Reverend Jennifer is our practitioner of the week. Amy Bishop with the wonderful music. Sherry Deeds and the Soul Purpose Band. They gave us our opening tunes and also supports us throughout the week and with their love and their music. All of our practitioners who are available for you at any time. So go to the website, reach out to our practitioners for prayer. That's what they do. You fill them with joy and purpose when you allow them to know your joy and your purpose and the truth of that through treatment. It's a powerful, powerful experience if you haven't had that. Congratulations to Dale, our volunteer of the month. Look forward to seeing you next week right here for Virch, our last Virch without in-person activity. We will be on the 20th. We'll have a combination of Virch and in person for those who want to come down to the center, so stand by for that. You saw in the announcements, we're still looking for people to help with the final fine-tuning and cleaning up around the space, so things are coming together. Want to thank Jim Collins for the work he's been doing, for the other volunteers that are showing up, for Mona, the work that she's been doing, for Bridget Lane and Dr. Susan, all that they've been doing, for Tracy Adams, the work she's been doing, for Gregory Seymour, for what he's been doing, and I've lifted a box or two every now and then. Great service coming up this week with Reverend Jennifer and Mary DiVincenzo on Wednesday. Do participate in that. And next week it's the Giants and the Sisters will have their meetings, their final Zoom meetings in July. They'll be returning to meeting at the center as well. So thanks to all of you for being here, because without you here, Virch, it just doesn't have the same life. I mean, all the comments and everything. So come on. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for servicing your own spiritual growth and enhancement and embodiment on this day. All right. Let's do our closing benediction, and then we will see you next week. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love. See you next week.